No,
This meeting is being recorded.
Yeah,
Oh, all
I'm
right.
back.
We're
Jason's got a
live.
big head.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. First time trying to do a Zoom call.
Yeah, this is gonna fail miserably.
This might work all right.
No, not a
I
chance.
think Brandon's a little somber.
What's wrong with him?
Brandon, well, he's doing great on.
Yeah, I mean, Joe Mixon, Nico Collins, heck of a call by us.
Yeah. I had McConkey, but I picked two of those. You only
No, the whatnot.
No, but the Nico Collins made it. The stakes go up.
The whatnot app got the best of Brandon tonight.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I'm in the whole.
He got a $2 Joe Alt card though.
That's good.
Yeah, I only spent.
So bad.
I'm not gonna.
Oh, you bought cards?
Yeah, he only
Bo's got Brandon buying cards now.
I did it just to keep him entertained, and here I am freaking losing my.
Probably Bo's got a new hobby every other week, so we've only got about another month for the podcast is on the back burner.
I will
It's
be
fun,
bankrupt,
dude. I'm telling you, it's so much fun.
All right, there was nothing fun about that. Nothing.
I had fun. Abby had fun. Abby was laughing the whole time.
Yeah, him and
All right,
Abby have been making.
So let's get it. This is episode 9, I think. Right? Did we know? Can we confirm that's episode 9? Episode 9. We haven't met till we met right before the Georgia Notre Dame game. RIP all our picks because it was upsetting. But let's kind of talk about the Georgia Notre Dame game, what we all thought. Jesse, lead us off. What do you think? Like, what are we thinking after that? I mean, it was upsetting to lose, but what do you think? What are you feeling?
I don't know. We should have. I feel like we could have won that game, but the playoffs have been weird this year, man. Like nobody that like the two teams in the finals, right? Are not. They didn't even play in a conference championship, which I mean, that's gonna hold. I feel like that's gonna end up holding significance throughout the years. You're probably gonna see more of that. I don't know. Did Georgia just run out of gas at the end of the season? We definitely didn't play a clean game. Gunnar Stockton was not the reason we lost. I thought if we were going to lose, it was going to be his fault. It was not his fault. We couldn't run the ball. It was the offensive line's fault. Like really both sides of the ball, the lines on both sides, I felt like didn't play up to the level of physicality that Notre Dame did. And I would have never thought that Notre Dame would have out physical Georgia, but they did. So
whipped us, dude.
The turning point in that game was right before halftime, trying to throw a pass instead of just running the clock out and going into half.
I don't fault the aggression.
I don't fault the aggression either, but
the University of
Georgia got
Freeland got whipped.
You felt like though, like let's be honest, with the first quarter, we weren't getting whipped, you know? Like and going into halftime there, you would move the ball on them. Like I felt like honestly, we dominated the first half. I really felt like we did. I never felt like we were in trouble with Notre Dame until they just scored those quick points out of nowhere. But I don't know, man. It's like just the offensive line really let you down there in those big moments.
It was I felt that too. I was like, man, we can kind of like we rip off the big play. Parker Jones lays out the ref, and ref gets soft, and we get a penalty, and it backs us up. And it's like we had momentum, then we lose it. Etienne and I don't blame Etienne on the fumble. As soon as the dude got it, he got absolutely slapped. And the dude just put his head on the ball, and the ball was never secure, and it came out. So it was like we had momentum. We'd drive, and then something would happen. We'd have momentum, and then something would happen. And it was just like we couldn't get in the rhythm, and we got kind of like once we got down to them, Notre Dame kind of had us where they wanted us because they're pretty good at controlling the clock considering they're so big up front. They could just kind of just run it down our throats, and it was kind of sad to watch.
They were able to do to us what I felt like our game plan against them was going to be. Like, we were going to try and control the ball, wear them out, but you found out pretty early on we couldn't run the ball, and so and then it was going to put a lot on Gunnar, and it was.
And like you said, though, Gunnar played really well. Like I was very pleased with how Gunnar played. Like he throws. The kind of the question was like, can Gunnar beat you with his arm? Well, yeah, he was slinging it. It was just the fact that we had less than 2 seconds of time in the pocket for him.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So do you guys think that if Carson Beck was in, do you think it could have been a different outcome? Do you think it would have been worse?
Not at all.
Yeah.
I think it would have been worse.
I think so too.
I mean, I totally agree with everything that's been said so far. We got out physical. You know, Marcus Freeman's always, I mean, in his short tenure as head coach in Notre Dame, he's proven he's going to try to out physical you. You know, it did the same thing as Penn State the other night. He's not going to try to blow you out. He's not going to try to do this, that. He's just going to go out there and try to win the football game the best way he can. And the reflection of the game to me, man, when we lost the game was not even the weird 14-point swing at the end of the second quarter and the kickoff. To me, it was, I'm iffy on Cash Jones. I like Cash Jones. I think he's a really good football player. I'm happy he's back next year. The 3rd and 2 run with him.
Oh, that's like the first drive of the game, wasn't it?
No. This was later on when it was like 3rd and 2. We just scored a touchdown, forced a 3 and out. We got the ball back on their side of the field, and our 3rd and 2 calls an inside zone.
It was another momentum swing, and it was a
right
ball.
And then obviously, we get the false start, and then, they're offside. So then we go for it again on 4th and 2. So they gave us a gift in that. But, the play calling was not what I thought it was going to be from Mike. And I don't know if a lot of that is he thought we had to do a bunch of short, quick, stunts because the offensive line was getting whipped all night. I mean, I hate it for Monroe Freeling because all year he had been solid. On the line when right tackle, we moved over to left tackle. He did well against Texas. He did well against Georgia Tech over there. So he had good games, man. It just no one's going to agree with me when I say this was the truth. It just wasn't meant to be.
No,
yeah,
it wasn't meant to be. I do not think Notre Dame's a better football team than us still. I never will. But it was one of those things where everything went their way and it wasn't meant to be.
Yeah, I can get down with that too because there was a lot of moments where I was like, I don't remember at what point in the game it was, but I know it was late in the game, right, where we get the ball back and we were down, and then Gunner just unloads on that bomb to Dylan Bell.
Dylan Bell
drops it, right? And it's like, dude, if he catches that ball and he makes one dude miss, that's a touchdown. And now that gap's closed and everybody's going crazy because we got the momentum. And Notre Dame they moved the ball better at the end of the game, but that's because if you look at the second half time of possession, they had the ball.
Say that. You could say that, but they had 220 total yards of offense. So I disagree, man. Riley Leonard didn't even eclipse 100 yards passing, right?
We did also score like 4 plays later after Dylan Bell dropped it. We did end up.
Nah, dude.
We ended up throwing
Notre Dame's got a horseshoe.
That's the same drive we threw the wheel route to Cash Jones on for a touchdown.
Yeah. Notre Dame's got a horseshoe.
Yeah, but that was like what 3-4 minutes later though. When it was like
3 or 4. It was like 3 or 4 plays later, but yeah, maybe depending on the time. But no, but I mean, you said yeah.
It's just like you had moments in the game where you could have taken the game, right? Like you might have we did eventually go and score on that drive. You're right, but I'm talking about there's a difference in scoring on that play and what that's going to do for you, and then doing it 4 or 5 plays later with the wheel route.
I agree with Jesse, right? Like when out of nowhere you go, it's like Ohio State 2022 vibe. Like out of nowhere you go deep bomb in a game where you feel like you have nothing, and then you hit out of nowhere. It's like, oh, they're back in it.
Exactly. Look at Notre Dame against Penn State, right? Penn State,
Riley Leonard
on the field scores, and then the next drive out of nowhere they hit that bomb, and the kid, what was Greathouse or something like that, breaks it for the long touchdown. That right there. I mean, even if it's the same score as if they would have scored 4 or 5 plays later, but it's a different swing of the game.
So I was going to say, if you've noticed, it's kind of a common theme in these games since the Georgia Notre Dame game, the Notre Dame Penn State game, then the Ohio State Texas game. All 3 games have something similar in the fact that all 3 of those games could have ended differently with certain plays going a separate way.
Mm-hmm.
If you watch that play,
it's 2 or less plays.
Sarkisian's worst play calls of his career on 1st and 1 are on the goal line. Just bring in Arch Manning, do like 5 QB sneaks, like literally as many QB sneaks as it takes. Just get Arch 1 yard.
What's
he doing?
I'm watching Georgia basketball game, bro. Hey, by the way, for wondering, we are a basketball school now.
Right now, yes. Until the spring, then we're baseball, and then we're going to be football again in the fall.
Score?
So
look at Phoebe.
I don't know, but it's like all these games have been more competitive than I think we gave them credit to thinking they would be. Like I honestly thought Ohio State was going to blow Texas out, and Texas made it a game.
Yeah.
And we thought Texas was going to blow Arizona State out. And Arizona State come back and made a game. And with that quarterback for Arizona State just signed some new deal for $3 million. I'm telling you right now, that kid's not worth $3 million. But
who?
that
It's
that
4
quarterback
million.
Levitt or something like that, the quarterback for Arizona State.
Yeah.
So something today like restructured some NIL contract, and now he's like $3 million evaluation. I'm like,
Carson
dude,
Beck's
what
not
world do we live
Your
in?
offense was your running back.
Huh?
Carson Beck's not worth $4 million.
Beck's worth $4 million. Beck's worth, I don't know. Beck's more deserving of what he got than I feel like that Levitt kid got. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's be honest. Do we think Arizona State's going to be back in the college football playoff next
I
year?
mean,
Beck is hurt.
Beck's coming off of
yes, they
I don't
are.
know how he's gonna
That's
work
Arizona
with it.
State's conference now, Jesse. But here's what I'm going to say.
That's true. Yeah.
Based off the Snapchat leaks I've seen of Carson Beck and some of the things he's said, I felt like he's an Arizona State guy. So I'm surprised Arizona State didn't try to go get him. But
Arizona State has their quarterback.
well, yeah, but I mean, that's why they didn't win against Texas. They don't have no Snapchat leaks.
Let me ask y'all this: the state of football right now. So, like, look at the University of Miami, right? They had I mean, they had to go get Cam Ward this year because it was supposed to be the year, right? Now they're spending millions of dollars and they're bringing Carson Beck in. What is that going to do for your recruiting? Because if I'm a quarterback recruit, like look at the kid at Milton, right? The kid at Milton's a stud and he's the 4-star, right? That's committed to Miami. If I'm that kid, I'm like, hey, look, I don't really want to go to a program that's just bringing in these high caliber players every year at my position. Because what does that mean? They're not developing guys. They don't have a guy on roster that they've developed who can lead them to win football games. I'm not going to go play football for you then. So what is that going to do for the stage of recruiting for these programs like Ohio State's and stuff like that? You got to keep getting guys at this position because you can't develop or recruit them.
Everybody wants experience. Kirby says
Jesse.
it all the time. Everybody wants experience.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna hit you with this one now, Jesse. What does college football become now after Ohio State is probably going to win it all? Does everyone follow the Ohio State blueprint and start spending $20 million a year now for the roster?
If you have it, you spend it.
I mean, it's crazy because a month ago we were saying, wow, Ryan Day, like you have all this talent. You're a freaking idiot. And then all of a sudden it's like they told Ryan Day, hey, man, there's a chair out back during practice. We want you to sit there. All right. Just don't even worry about coming in the building and let Chip Kelly run this offense, which looks really pristine like his Oregon days.
Really good.
And
really good.
letting the defense work. I mean, so I think this like after spring ball is going to be really fascinating what occurs. But I just want to say this, to point to the high school recruits and NIL and everything. Connor Stallings, the old Michigan guy, I saw him tweet this today, and his word means nothing to me because he's like Al Qaeda to me. He's pretty pointless, but he tweeted, the SEC, the last 2 years, it's like Danny Cannell, 0-4 in the playoffs or something. I was like, okay, yeah, that's cool, right? There's more money up north. Watch this happen. Does that hold weight actually, or is this just like a fling all of a sudden? Look at 2013, 2014, Florida State, Ohio State wins it, right? You're going to get a Michigan, Ohio State. I think there are down years within the SEC that do occur, but if these people up north really think because there's money involved, the teams down south, anything's going to change rather their mind. If anything, I think Texas and LSU are going to be prone to take over a lot more than people realize.
A lot of money.
Yeah.
I do think the NIL though, like what Kirby talked about the other day, like there's no longer like there's no loyalty anymore.
Oh no.
Like these dudes they're not as likely to go play. They're definitely not going to play for universities anymore. They're going to play for coaches. And now they're not even doing that anymore. They're playing for money. Who's got the most
Justice
money
Terry.
right then, right there. And so it's all like an investment. I think the reality is that the schools with the deepest pockets are going to be able to get better faster. Like, let's be honest, Belichick's probably going to have a winning. Okay. Yeah, there we go. But
win.
I'm going to say I think Belichick is going to be in contention for the ACC title next year just because UNC's probably got a lot of money, and now they've got a coach who can go into living rooms and say, like, hey, not only am I going to get you this money, but I can get you, to the next level. And so, like, you're going to see that happen a lot more. Like look at SMU. Only way SMU keeps Kevin Jennings in the conference they're in is because they're SMU and they had the Pony Express back in the day. And so, like, the money matters a lot right now as far as keeping players and stuff like that. I mean, Georgia's trying to do it with Damon Wilson right now. They're trying to get enough money to pay to get him back. And that brings up a really cool story I saw on Twitter. You know that Mbakwe kid from Bama, right? He entered the portal and then took his name out, kind of like what Tuggle did. A lot of people are speculating on Twitter that they're kind of encouraged him to do that, knowing that he wasn't really serious about leaving, because it forces the boosters to drum up more money, right? Like if you're like, hey, we got to keep this guy, we got to get more money to pay him. Well, if they're able to get that money this year, then next year, the boosters have that money. And
Dude,
so it's like once they show they have that money, they can't take it away. And
money does crazy things.
Because I don't think Bama has as much money as a Notre Dame or as an Ohio State. I just don't think Bama does. I don't think Georgia has as much money as Ohio State.
The state of Alabama, man, was that whole university is fully built off the Nick Saban name and Bear Bryant name, right? They've had literally two of the greatest coaches of all time. But you look at, like, besides those two guys being there and the pedigree and the body of work that university has accomplished in that football program, you take those two coaches away, it's pretty like it's like South Carolina par. It's not good. And you're lucky that, if you look back in 2007, like, the University of Alabama was really, really lucky that the Miami Dolphins did not go get Drew Brees like Nick Saban wanted to. Because Nick Saban would have never went back to college football if he did. Like, we can be honest, seeing now the body of work that Drew Brees has put together throughout his career. So I really don't think Alabama, even though I know you're a Kalen DeBoer homer, Jesse, I do not think Alabama will ever be that pedigree. I think they'll have good years here and there, but I think, like, how fast that ship is sinking is unreal.
All right. Okay, so real quick, back to Georgia talk. Say a prayer for the Smart family.
Amen.
What they went through. It's kind of crazy. Like, you think about, like, if I'm in Kirby Smart's position and knowing my dad is, just broke his hip and is now in the hospital taking a turn for the worst.
Hard to watch a football game. That's no way his mind was there 100%.
You don't want to say, like, you're glad your team lost, but, like, honestly, in his sakes, like, it might have been a good time for us to have lost so he could kind of step with his family.
Right. Well, could you imagine him winning and then have
it was good to see Kirby get out after it, though, because he was at the Georgia-Kentucky.
He's at the basketball game, yeah.
So it's good to see him getting out and still being involved.
Good guy, by the way. He ran a lot of Sonny Smart, right? I'm pretty sure that's how you said it.
Yeah, Sonny.
He ran a lot of games up at, like, Apple Mountain and he ran a lot of, like, senior golf event games and stuff, like a bunch of older fellas. So a lot of people in the golf world say a lot of good things about him. He's a very nice, respectful guy.
He was like a coach. Wasn't he a high school coach in Georgia?
Yeah, he was. He's got a pretty good pedigree there too.
Yeah, he's like pretty well known.
Yep. That's kind of so, like, 2 years ago, like, I got a rumor from one of my buddies that they're playing with him. And the first time I heard about, like, Gunnar Stockton being a dude was they said Sonny was talking to him about him and how high Kirby is on Gunnar. So that was, like, my first implication of, like, okay, well, Gunnar Stockton's going to end up being a guy one day. So, I mean, it's just kind of cool to hear, like, little stories of, like, Kirby's dad's out there running golf games for senior events and it's just talking about Georgia football stuff that his son tells him.
Yeah, that is cool.
Rest in peace, Sonny, man. Hopefully the Dogs can get it done for him next year. Football's just football, though. Family and life more important. So glad Kirby got to kind of get with his family there.
Right.
But all right, so fast forward this offseason. You're Kirby Smart. We already see he's in the transfer portal really hard with the receivers, and I've loved him. I've loved every pickup we've gotten so far for the receivers.
Brothers are huge.
What are some other adjustments you're going to make going forward?
Wonder what Brandon's going to say.
I wonder what Brandon's going to say.
I wonder.
Let's see. How about fire Mike Bobo? Maybe? I mean, I know nobody that has listened to, like, any episode we've done has expected me to say fire Mike Bobo, but get rid of that man, please. And he's not going to, but please get rid of him.
I wouldn't put it past him to see, then bring in some. I said David Pollock said it on a podcast not too long ago that he thinks there's going to be some turnover on the staff. And like, don't be surprised if some names you don't
Look, he needs
expect.
a new OC and he needs a new O-line coach. The O-line coach is trash, and Mike Bobo is worse than trash.
Yeah, and he's probably gonna bring try as hard as they can to bring Muschamp in or back in as co defensive
Oh, dude,
coordinator.
Muschamp was
Yeah, you have to. I think at that point you have to give Muschamp's son a scholarship. That way you can have Will back around full time.
Yeah, that'd be a
I
good.
think Kirby'd be willing to do that too.
That'd be a good move.
Well, his son's also a quarterback. I know we got a quarterback room, but we're full. Might as well. A little scout team QB never hurt.
Yeah.
Well, I genuinely I still think about like you got nobody else on roster with any experience outside of Gunner right now. It's just a little worrisome.
I think
Especially the big games you got to play next year, man. Like there's some big games. But then again, I really don't like the idea of keep going to the portal to get your quarterbacks. That's not a good look.
Puglisi's
I want to be able to develop play callers.
Disagree.
Develop my guys.
Yeah, no, I think Puglisi,
good,
sorry. Yeah, he's an ex-Stafford.
We do have another kid, though. The kid, I forgot about the kid from Perry. He was on there as like a walk-on or something like that. He's also there.
Which kid?
I'm not
His
familiar.
name is from Perry. He played at Perry High School last year.
Last kid named Drake. The Drake kid, number 26.
Nah.
The quarterback that's like super fast. Whatever
All right,
number.
well, I'll go ahead and go on adjustments that I want to see this offseason.
Coulter Ginn?
I want to see Georgia. One, obviously, I want them to move Mike Bobo back to an analysis role. Obviously, they're never going to get my dream OC, which is Kellen Moore, who's been super successful everywhere he goes. So I've told Bo and Jesse and all them I've found an alternative to that. Jordan Davis, who's at North Texas, not our DGD, Jordan Davis, and NFL. I would love to see them go hire him.
Not my account, by the way. Just something.
I bet, bro. I bet not Bo's burner.
Look, it says follow. It's not my account.
Oh yeah, it's a screenshot.
I just look at it every day to see if they've updated something. Sorry, carry on. I'm sorry for interrupting.
No, you're good. I mean, I would like to see a change of pace in the new OC. I'd like them to go get a legit guy from like in the NFL. I would like them to go get someone out of the Ravens OC room, maybe more so in the passing game coordinator, a guy that's been around Todd Monken the last 2 years with kind of a running quarterback to see if they can establish that in a Gunner Stockton. Obviously, he's no Lamar Jackson, obviously, but I would like to maybe see a move like that happen so you can implement Gunner's legs more in the game because I do think that's what separates Lamar's games from a lot of these quarterbacks in the NFL. From the defensive side of the ball, man, your secondary's loaded. With Dalen Everett returning, Daniel Harris, Ellen Robinson. I think our linebacker group is going to be solid. I know you lost Mike Hill and Jalen Walker, but I think Wilson's going to come back anyways. I agree with Jesse. He's fishing for money. And this has got post-2020 vibes to me. Yeah. Everyone's worried about D-line, O-line, right? How are they going to do? How are they going to be? And then, you look back at those two, like that championship year in 21 when we finally did it, the defense was unreal. And I do think it's going to be that again next year. I think you're going to see a more complete defense versus just needing two guys on the edge to create havoc.
Yeah. You could say, I guess do you think, DB, we have the talent on the line?
Yes.
I do. All the depth.
Dude, I'm telling you right now. I can't think of their names. I'm telling you right now. Chris Cole, Gabriel Harris is going to be a stud. There's one more I'm missing right now that's going to be running that rotation linebacker.
I thought Chris Cole was transferring.
No, and Pimba transferred.
Yeah,
Samuel and Pimba can't transfer.
Who's the son of the Buccaneers defensive coordinator?
Oh, that's Bowles.
That's Bowles.
That
kid already transferred. Yeah,
he transferred.
Yeah. Well, he made it far off his daddy's name.
Yeah, I think you have to. Your number one priority right now, if you're Georgia, is to get Damon Wilson back, just because of the experience. Like Christian Miller's got a lot of experience, but then outside of him, if Damon Wilson goes, you're relying on a lot of young kids. Now, like Chris Cole is a young kid that's like, dude, he's gonna be a stud next year. And he
But he
saw
got
the
a lot
field
of
more.
people.
Be a freak of
He
nature.
saw the field more than a lot of these young cats. But like,
I also
if
think
you don't
CJ
have Damon
Allen would be
Wilson
fine.
come back, then
He
you're
be
relying on.
Elijah Griffin's coming in day one and starting on defense.
Yes, no, I'm a firm believer
Yeah, dude.
in that as well. I think he's literally I think if
No
you had
Jesse?
Elijah Griffin this year,
He'd
we'd
start
be
as a
talking.
pass rusher. He
Yeah,
can
he's a
definitely
legit
start on
pass
the
rusher.
edge as a pass rusher. And that's that's all he's got. That's all he's got to do is right. Like you're gonna get the quarterback. You need Dane Wilson because how many times does Georgia put a hand in the dirt and then drop back into coverage? Right? Like they're always doing that weird stuff at the line, right? All those like shifts and stunts and stuff like that. You need an experienced guy to kind of head that up. And they had it this year in Michael, right? But then the one that nobody's talking about is that Tyrion Dawkins Ingram kid. He
ID's
was another
gone.
just stud, right? Like
Gone.
he didn't have to rely on Michael. And next year it's a lot of what ifs unless you can get Damon Wilson back. That's why I think it's the number one priority. So that way you got your guy who can put his hand in the dirt, but he can also, you can flex in different places and he's played a bunch. I didn't understand how long Damon Wilson had been at Georgia. He'd been at Georgia for a minute.
He's been there 2 years. I mean, but the issue is with him, man. He like
Always.
if he was truly going to transfer, he would have transferred last year.
Yeah.
I just think it's a money play because I think that everybody in that room knows that he is the guy. Like he is the new. He was supposed to be the guy this year.
He was one of the captains. He was one of the captains for the game against Notre Dame, right?
There are rumors swirling.
I don't know.
He was one of the captains. He was out there for
He
the
very well could be. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's why that one was kind of weird. So I don't know.
That one
I don't think it's weird though. I think it's realistic in the day of NIL. Because remember, like last year, Beck was flirting but with entering the transfer portal, and it's a way to hold these universities ransom. Like I'm gonna hold you hostage until you pay me, or else I'm gonna go somewhere else somebody else pays me. And so hopefully Georgia's able to open up checkbook and find an opportunity to keep Damon Wilson around because I genuinely think that like losing him, you're going to be relying on a lot of young dudes that got the talent, but do they have enough experience to play in Alabama and a Texas and an Ole Miss? Because you got to think about that too. That's what Kirby's thinking about is we've got a tough schedule again, and so I don't want to have to rely on question marks.
Well, a lot of those teams also lose a lot. Like Texas is going to lose that, like a lot of that defense that was really, really solid this year. Obviously, they already have what they need at QB, but they're losing some solid receivers around them. Alabama's probably doing the best thing ever. Jalen Milroe's going to the draft, so they may save their season next year. Because, like I said, if that guy's not playing Georgia, he'd be working at McDonald's full time. So good for him. But no, there are rumors swirling in Athens, and I'm just gonna say it. I don't know if it's gonna happen, but I don't think we're done in the transfer portal yet.
Who are you thinking?
I'm just gonna say we're not done in the transfer portal yet because I do believe there are 3 to 4 names that will be transferring after the national championship is over.
All right then.
And I'm not saying they're coming from the teams playing in the national championship either.
Do you know who they are?
I have heard that this is a strong rumor that Malik Murphy was in Austin, Texas this weekend.
Okay.
All right. And that Tom Brady and Bill Belichick have been in talks as well.
Oh yeah, you told me that.
Yeah, and I'm a firm believer still. I think the Arch Manning to North Carolina thing is done. I know it has nothing to do with Georgia, but that's something I've heard as well. As far as who comes to University of Georgia, I'm not sure on those names, but like it sounds like more money from boosters have been given kind of for the Wilson situation that Jesse was talking about, but there's 3 to 4 more people.
Okay, so I'm just going to kind of say what I think you're hinting at. Ewers goes to the draft or transfers, but probably the draft because he said something about that.
Mm-hmm.
Saying maybe Brady, Belichick take a double whammy and they steal number 16.
Mm-hmm.
And Malik Murphy makes his return back to Texas because quarterbacks.
Yep.
Now, Malik Murphy has already committed to Oregon State.
Well, yeah, that's cool. Nah, I mean, how many people have already committed and then flipped?
No,
How many
you're
guys have
exactly right.
enrolled and then went somewhere else?
Who's that kid that was at committed to Oregon was he's at Cal now.
Yeah,
This kid just graduated
the
high school this
quarterback.
year.
Yeah, the QB.
He's
I
got the
forget
weird
his name.
long
Well,
name.
it's like the guy we just got from UAB. He committed to Florida the day before, and then Kirby was like, "Nah, I don't want to let little Sunbelt Billy have him. I'll take him."
Well, guys, y'all are gonna hate this, but we got 1 minute left before we got to wrap this up.
Really?
Yeah, it's 40-minute timer.
Zoom's on a timer. All right. Well, okay. Who do we think wins? Ohio State, Notre Dame.
Ohio State.
Ohio State by a million.
Ohio State.
Give me a track meet, dude. I'm telling you, I don't think.
I'll go Notre Dame.
Hey,
I'll go Dame.
I just hope they have a lot of fun.
I hate Marcus Freeman. I hate that he's so nice. I hate that he's nice.
I do love all the athletes talking about Jesus publicly too. By the way, that's awesome.
It's becoming more and more comments.
I love it. Make that a common thing. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Agreed.
All right, well, that was good. We'll try to do this again and kind of manage a little bit better on time. But appreciate you setting it up, Jesse.
Yeah, can you make it longer
Hopefully we
next
get
time?
back in person.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, boys. See y'all later.
See ya.